Welcome in. How are you doing today? That's very good to hear. Well, I hope that you are excited because we have got a fun one today. Today we will be figuring out what your perfect force path will be. Yes, it's out of 4, just as usual. And just to go over a few notes here before we start and go back to the room, these are going to be about 25 questions, if that's alright with you. You are more than welcome to lay in the bed and relax and unwind, kick your shoes off, anything that you would want. We appreciate honest answers, and with that, you can tell us if you relate to more than one answer at a time, and we can make a note of that. Any notes that you have, we will keep in our records, just to make sure we have the best possible understanding of you. Does that sound alright? Okay, perfect. Well, before we begin, I just need a few pieces of information from you. Can I get your name once again? No, I don't need to know how to spell it. I've seen you around. We've spelled it a few times now. I remember your face, your name, even the next one. What is your occupation? Just amazing. Perfect. And how is that going? Are you still enjoying that? I mean, it sounds fun at least. Okay, yeah. Of course, everybody's got their good days and their bad days. No matter how fun the job actually is, that's very fair. Your favorite drinking water temperatures is still okay, yeah. Perfect. And let's see, we've got your lightsaber. That color hasn't changed, has it? Okay. And your favorite movie genre, okay. Really? It's not one I hear all the time, so very interesting. Well, with that right there out of the way, I just want to ask if you have any further questions about any of the process, or if you are prepared to go back to the room. Okay, yeah. Then, without further ado, did you want to do any breathing exercises before we start? We can, of course, wait till we get in the room because I know some people aren't very comfortable doing it out here in public, and that's perfectly normal and perfectly okay. Okay, yeah, I can do that. 3 seconds in, 3 seconds hold, 3 seconds out for you when we get back there. Sound good? Well, alright. Let's head back there now then. Alright. Just sit your chart down there. And, like I always say, at the end, when we give you your results, I will write it down on this piece of paper. We are technically not allowed to say the results out loud, but I will show you down below. Yes, on the paper. But are you ready for those breathing exercises? The box breathing? Alright, perfect. And remember, it's 3 seconds in through the nose, hold for 3 seconds, and out through the mouth for 3 seconds. Are you ready? Alright. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Out. 1, 2, 3. Alright. Great. Let's go one more. In through the nose. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Out. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to do that one more time. In through the nose. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Out. 1, 2, 3. How are you feeling? Okay. And as always, feel free to make yourself comfortable down there on the bed. You are allowed to relax, unwind, kick back. Like I said, you can even take your shoes off. I am fully aware that it is the end of the week, so we just ask that you get yourself in the most relaxed place that you can be, with the exception of, obviously, you're in this clinic. We don't have too many rules though, so. Well, alright. Are you comfortable and ready to begin your force power evaluation? I'm glad to hear it. We have updated our system once again to hopefully reflect a stronger pattern recognition quiz, or assessment is the better term. So I hope you enjoy. Question 1. A frightened creature blocks the only path forward. What do you do? Lower your own energy and wait for it to understand you are not a threat. Create just enough uncertainty in its mind that moving aside feels natural. Steady the group behind you so nobody makes the fear worse. Or look for signs that it is injured, trapped, or reacting to pain. Okay, yeah. Yeah, and just when you hear typing, that's just me taking notes. We do the paper so that there's an actual physical documentation that you've been here. But when it comes to the assessment, we do it on our data pads and get the best possible information as fast as possible. Alright, question 2. You are stuck at a guarded checkpoint with no time for a fight. What is your instinct? Notice the guard's mount, companion animal, or surroundings before speaking. Use calm confidence to make your presence feel ordinary and forgettable. Keep everyone with you relaxed enough not to betray the plan, or notice who is exhausted and hurt and turn that into the reason you need passage. Okay. Next up, we've got which problem would frustrate you most? Someone tries to dominate a being they never bothered to understand. Someone escalates a conflict that could have been redirected with one better sentence. A group fails because everyone panics separately instead of moving together. Or people keep pushing forward while pretending the damage is not real. Alright, well, thank you for that. That has been noted, and I do agree that it could have been several on that one, because it really doesn't bode well for many of those in all of our minds. I know it says which one bothers you most, but it's very fair that you chose those answers. Alright, next question. A stranger lies to you badly. What do you notice? Their body language is more frightened than malicious. The exact belief they need you to accept for the lie to work. How the lie affects the mood of everyone listening. Or the old hurt underneath the lie. Perfect. That's very compassionate of you for those answers, I will say. In a crisis, what role do you naturally fall into? The one who approaches the volatile thing slowly enough to not make it worse? The one who changes the conversation before it becomes confrontation? The one who makes the whole group breathe again? The one who stays with whoever cannot keep moving yet? Okay. Perfect. A young force sensitive is scared of their own power. What lesson would you teach first? Power listens better when you stop trying to grab it. What people believe you can shape what they choose. Your emotions affect more than just yourself. Or pain does not make you broken, but it does need care. Okay. Great job so far. Which small moment would mean the most to you? A guarded animal rests beside you for the first time. Someone chooses peace because you helped them imagine it. A frightened room grows quiet because your steadiness spreads. Or someone finally says, "That still hurts," and lets you stay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much for that extra note at the end. Really kind of put the picture together of why you thought that way. You find an ancient Jedi text with one lesson circled. Which line feels most like yours? Connection begins where control ends. The mind opens first to the story it already wants to believe. one centered presence can turn fear into formation. To restore life, first honor the wound in just one here. I know that typically does make it more difficult, but thank you so much for indulging me in the single answer. Would you like me to note of any others that came across to you, or just keep this one clean at one? Okay. We can just keep this clean at one, but I do note your sentiment. And again, feel free to close your eyes. If you have not, someone in your group keeps making reckless choices. What approach do you try? Figure out what fear or instinct they are reading from. Reframe the choice so that the safer option feels like their own idea. Stabilize the group so their recklessness does not infect everyone. Or ask what pain they are trying not to feel. Very, very valid. Alright, we'll take a break after this one and give you a chance to grab some water, all that fun. A hostile crowd is forming. What do you focus on? The first signs of fear spreading through body's posture and movement. The phrase or assumption that could redirect the crowd's attention. The emotional current of the group before it becomes a wave. The people most likely to be crushed by what happens next. Perfect way to end that. Are you doing okay? How are you feeling about the quiz so far? Assessment. Alright. Did you want me to take any of that as note or just between you and me? Okay. That's perfectly fine. Not everything needs to be documented like that. I can simply say how you feel about the assessment itself without adding too many details. Just one word there. How are you feeling when it comes to do you need a drink of water? Okay, yeah, feel free to do that. You are always welcome to drink more. Hydration is very important to the human body, so we will never stop you from taking a drink, just as we will never wake you before your full 8 hours is up, and even then, we do not technically wake you unless you personally ask or you have been asleep for more than 10 hours. Before we hop back in, did you want to do any of the breathing exercises, or are you feeling fairly relaxed? Okay, yeah. Well then, let us finish out strong here. And this is going to be about 15 questions, more than our usual 10. So if you at any point need to take a drink, please feel free to, okay? Perfect. A mission succeeds but someone was badly shaken by it. What do you do after? Stay nearby without crowding them, letting trust rebuild slowly. Help them tell the story in a way that does not trap them inside fear. Bring the group back together so no one leaves alone with the weight. Or sit with the damage directly instead of rushing them toward fine. You are leaning more of a certain way, but this might be one of the first times I've seen your assessment kind of even fairly. Yeah, it's very interesting as always. You're a very unique candidate. We very much appreciate you for that, if we haven't already said that during your visit today. Which Star Wars style challenge sounds most like your lane? Earning the trust of a massive creature guarding a sacred place. Passing through an occupied city using nerve, timing, and suggestion. Holding a rebel cell together during a battle they think they cannot win. Or saving a wounded ally when supplies are gone and fear is rising. Perfect. Next question. A powerful enemy tries to intimidate you. What is your quiet advantage? You can feel the fear underneath their aggression. You know their confidence depends on everyone accepting their version of reality. You can keep others from absorbing the fear they are projecting. Or you see exactly where cruelty has made them hollow. Fantastic. Which mistake are you most likely to make? Caring so deeply that you forget trust still needs freedom. Steering situations so smoothly that you forget to ask whether you should. Holding everyone together until you have no private place to fall apart. Giving care until you become invisible, rather invisible inside other people's needs. I can reread that, yeah. Giving care until you become invisible inside other people's needs. Okay. Good job. Thank you for that one. Alright, next up. A companion wants revenge. What do you say? Listen to what your anger is protecting before you obey it. This choice will not give you what your mind is promising. If you let rage lead you, everyone who follows you feels it too. Or you are wounded. Do not let the wound choose your future. Alright. Which object would you carry? A small token from a creature that chose to trust you. A plain cloak that lets you pass unnoticed when needed. A smooth focused stone used before hard decisions. A worn medical wrap kept from someone you helped save. Okay. A plan requires deceiving someone harmless. What is your reaction? You might dislike it because fear and confusion can damage trust. You might do it carefully, but only if the outcome prevents greater harm. You worry about how deception will affect the group's shared discipline. You worry about the emotional harm left behind after the mission succeeds. Yeah, they're a little more introspective this time. So, and a little more like kind of scenario based. But yeah, like I said, we have upgraded just a little bit. I think the person who makes this is also starting to get the hang of it a little bit, so it's very good. But you're enjoying? Yeah. Are you ready for the next question? Okay. I didn't want to push you or interrupt you, so just want to make sure. What kind of silence feels most familiar? The silence before a skittish being decides whether to come close. The silence after a suggestion lands and the room shifts. The silence of many people breathing together before action. The silence after someone finally stops pretending they are okay. I am truly fascinated by what your results are going to say. We really could. It's kind of leaning one way, but it's very, very close. So it's going to come down to the weight of each question this time, it seems. Yeah. Alright. What would make you break from the plan? The plan treats a living being like a tool instead of a presence. The plan assumes force is the only way through. The plan is technically sound, but will shatter the team's morale, or the plan leaves someone behind because their pain is inconvenient. Just a few more questions here. A strange forest vision shows you 4 doors. Which one do you open? The one with claw marks, warm breath, and no words? The one that was never locked, only believed to be? The one vibrating with hundreds of distant heartbeats? The one glowing softly around an old scar? Just one here. Of course, you're more than welcome to really think on this one. Alright, perfect. Yeah, you're more than welcome to take as much time on these as you need. But next up, we've got which line would be most dangerous for you to believe too much? If I love something enough, I can keep it safe. I know what people need to hear before they do. I have to stay calm because everyone else depends on me. Or I can take the pain if it means someone else does not have to. It's very noble of you. A droid, animal, child, soldier, and politician all panic at once. Who do you check first? The animal or the child, because fear becomes dangerous when no one speaks its language. The politician, because one wrong command could reshape everyone's choices. The soldier, because panic and formation can spread fast. Or the one physically or emotionally closest to collapse. This one is a bit more difficult, I agree. Okay. Yeah. Final answer. Perfect. During training, what lesson would challenge you most? Connection is not proof that someone belongs to you. Influence must never become possession. You are part of the group, not just the one holding it together. You cannot heal everything by spending yourself. What do you do when someone is afraid of you? Make yourself smaller, slower, and easier to read. Change the expectation that made you seem threatening. Calm the larger environment so fear has less fuel. Or ask what happened before you arrived. Okay. Quicker answer there. It's a little bit easier, Not all of them have to be hard. We can have some fun here. Which ending feels most satisfying? The creature, once seen as a monster, chooses to walk beside the hero. The battle never starts before because the room believes in a better option. The outnumbered group holds together and wins because courage becomes shared, or the wounded person rises, changed, but no longer alone inside the hurt. Perfect. Final question. This one doesn't really count, so we are technically finished, but if you could have any force power, which would it be? Animal bond, mind trick, battle meditation, or force healing? Okay. Well, perfect. Okay. That is all submitted there. How are you feeling? Okay, yeah. That's what we like to hear. And relaxed about how much? Okay. So, could be better, could be worse. It's not a bad outcome, though. I appreciate your honesty with all of that and all of the answers. As we always say, You're so unique in your answers. This assessment pulls out your personality and the reality of it. It's very 3D. You're very complex in nature, yet not so complex that nobody can relate. And I just want to say that again. People have had similar mindsets, not the same answers and how you answered, but you definitely have a crowd out there. There we go. Any final thoughts for me as I just write down your results here? Okay. Of course. Now, it's our pleasure to do things like this. Here is your results. You can just read those down below. You here. There is your answer right there at the bottom. But as always, if you don't mind, I'll just explain the results and eventually we'll see yours. Sound like a plan? Okay. Well, if you got mostly animal bond, your answers suggest that you are patient, intuitive, and deeply aware of the emotions beneath behavior. You are not just good with animals or gentle. You are someone who notices fear, boundaries, instinct, and trust before you rush toward a solution. This result fits you because your quiz pattern points towards emotional intelligence, nonverbal awareness, respect for freedom, and the ability to connect without control. You probably dislike domination, disguised as leadership, and you are drawn to relationships built slowly, honestly, and without force. Your strengths are patience, empathy, restraint, and trust building. Your growth edge is remembering that care does not mean ownership. The best version of this power is not control over living things. It is connection, so honest that even fear is willing to come close. If you got mostly mind trick, your answers suggest that you are persuasive, strategic, and unusually aware of how belief shapes behavior. You are not simply manipulative or charming. You are someone who understands that people often move through the world based on the story they think they are inside. This result fits you because your quiz pattern points toward timing, language, social perception, subtlety, and problem solving through reframing rather than force. You probably notice the exact moment a room becomes open to suggestion, and you may be very good at helping people choose a path they had not considered. Your strengths are cleverness, adaptability, restraint, and influence. Your growth edge is remembering that influence has moral weight. The best version of this power does not erase people's agency. It redirects danger before violence becomes necessary. If you got mostly battle meditation, your answer suggests that you are steady, group aware, and naturally sensitive to morale. You are not just a leader or strategist. You are someone who notices when fear spreads, when confidence breaks, and when people need a shared center before they can act well. This result fits you because your quiz pattern points towards emotional regulation, coordination, collective courage, and the ability to strengthen others without needing to stand in front. You probably understand that a group can win or lose before the first move is made, depending on whether its spirit holds together. Your strengths are composure, strategic awareness, emotional steadiness, and quiet leadership. Your growth edge is remembering that you are not only useful when you are holding everyone else together. The best version of this power turns scattered people into a united force without asking you to disappear inside the group's needs. And finally, if you got mostly floor ceiling, your answers suggest that you are compassionate, resilient, and deeply attentive to what pain does to people. You are not just nice or helpful. You are someone who notices wounds others hide, the exhaustion after survival, and the difference between getting through something and actually recovering from it. This result fits you because your quiz pattern points towards care, restoration, emotional courage, triage, and the willingness to stay present where others might look away. You probably understand that pain left untreated can shape choices long after a crisis ends. Your strengths are empathy, tenderness, endurance, and restorative presence. Your growth edge is remembering that healing others should not mean spending yourself until there is nothing left. The best version of this power does not deny suffering. It meets the wound honestly and helps life return. Alright, well, as I get these final things in, I just want to say thank you so much again for your honesty and openness. As always, you are more than willing to fall asleep. There will be someone guarding your door tonight, so you are completely safe. And if you would like, we will provide breakfast in the morning as long as you sleep here, yes. So, if you are relaxed and unwound, feel free to not even move, not even reply, and to just be here in this moment. We thank you again so much for being here and giving us your answers and your time. We really, really appreciate it. And we wish you the best of rest on this occasion. On to the next chapter.